So we're going to be looking at West, and we're going to be looking at a video of a reporter attacking Polish MP on Muslim migration. I guess instantly. Clickbait, and well, apparently give all this area reports. So you have a look at that, and then maybe you can tell me what your thoughts about it. Let's get started.
Today we're going to be reacting to this video of Dominik Tarczynski talking to this Al Jazeera reporter.
Dominik Tarczynski, thank you for joining me on Upfront. You're an MP and an MEP-elect for Poland's Law and Justice Party, which was recently re-elected to government and which is often criticised for being anti-immigrant, anti-refugee. But actually, you're not anti-immigrant or anti-refugee. You're okay with white Christian immigrants from Ukraine. You've taken around 2 million of them in. You're just not okay, it seems, with brown Muslim refugees.
Look at that guy smiling. He's smirking. Probably enjoys it. The roasted. Because you don't know that he's been paid by Israel. He's not even talking about it. Don't worry about it. He said he was white, but no, he was genocide again. So, yeah, don't look at him and think he's happy. He's smirking.
Refugees from the Middle East. White people fine, brown people not fine.
Oh, that's smirking.
That reminds me of that Family Guy meme.
It has nothing to do with the religion. I keep repeating it for last 4 or 5 years. It's all about safety and the common sense. It's not about Ukrainians who are allowed to come to Poland.
This is also kind of a tricky thing because there is an extreme anti-Ukrainian sentiment in the country now as well. But I think it's totally okay if an Islamic country wants to say no Christian illegal immigrants into the country. I think countries should be able to do what they want to do. And if Poland doesn't want to accept Islamic illegal immigrants, I think they totally can do that.
Oh, what about Christian illegal immigrants? Then no one talks about that, but it's only Muslims. It's only Muslims. They have a agenda. Funny that one, miss.
And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I like living here.
Maybe he lost it because, well, he's Asian. He's rejected by the US, and now comes a opponent because he's a white Asian man. Not really. No. No, the only reason why they love Asian because communist war and stuff. So, yeah.
It's about illegal migrants who wants to cross our borders.
Illegal.
And if you're brown, white, yellow, or whatever, if you want to cross our border illegally, you're not allowed. We are reacting.
But you say it's not about religion. You said, quote, we will not receive even one Muslim.
It's not Islamophobia, it's someone trying
I love when he's defending his quotes out there, yeah? I love it when he just hates Islamophobia. I'll tell you what educate is, right? Islamophobia is when he hates someone of a particular faith, yeah? You know when they say that Muslims are a race? That's true for religion, yeah? Islam's not a religion. That's a false. Any person that hates Muslims, basically that's someone that comes from Muslim faith, Islamophobia. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't see what controversial to say about say that it's racist. I don't know why it's controversial. I don't know why it's it's okay to be racist towards one another about Muslim faith and stuff. When they talk about immigration, obviously that's what everyone's doing there, but it's not that he's attacking Muslims. Very propaganda on this.
to tell us Angela Merkel started this madness, and now this...
No. It was 2015 refugee crisis. That's what started it. That's what started this hate trend about Muslims from other countries, and you don't talk about Indonesia and Malaysia being Muslim countries, do they? No. It's Arab countries. No. It's these guys. It's these lot.
It's a problem about Muslims mainly coming to Europe. I'm surprised they are not going to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, or any other rich Muslim countries. They would feel much better, isn't it?
This is a really good argument that he makes. Why does Europe have to take in all of these Muslim refugees when all of the rich Arab countries won't?
That's because you colonized them, Wes. Don't you see? They colonized all these countries, so now they're getting payback from those people that colonized so many countries. Germany colonized Africa, and then British Empire colonized half the world's population there. Then Empire colonized a lot of these countries, right? So already, right? Italian Empire already colonized what 2/3 of the African countries. Common sense, right? That's common sense, but no. common sense is when you hate this particular faith, we don't want them in our country. Yeah, we need to get them white. Yeah, we need to get them pure whatever, wherever nationality you come from.
Do it. I think one of the Achilles heels
British,
of Europeans, or just like
shit.
white people in general, they're just too nice, and they think everything is all sunshine and roses because European countries and America, we're very rich countries, we're sheltered from a lot of the evils of the world, so we see everything through these rose-colored glasses.
There are some European countries that see a lot of evils and they're all so poor. I don't really get the idea where someone you're very immigrant, mate. You're very immigrant. That you traveled Albania, but you never traveled Bosnia. But they're doing well with Muslims. They're not getting any hate. Seems like the EU seems to be just love getting far right people, just love inviting people over.
But because Poland has experienced a lot of hardship very recently, they see the reality of the world. This is why I think the best countries are the ones that are like not too developed or not too underdeveloped, like right in the middle, and they're progressing upwards because they have a good balance of both values, both the modern values and the traditional values.
The EU Advocate General, which advises the European Court of Justice, found that your country broke EU law in 2015 when Poland refused to share the refugee burden. So it's your country, your government, Dominic, that's undermining European values, European laws, not immigrants, not refugees, not Muslims.
No, not at all. This judgment was not about Poland only, it was about Hungary and others. And also, this judgment, this sentence was about all countries which did not fulfill the expectations. You have to remember that the quota systems, which...
Yeah, excuse me, because my mum's like all background music so loud, so she's watching the news. I'm just here about level with.
Was very clear about the numbers. So even Germany and France did not receive as many as they should. For us, that was very clear. In 2015, we promised that...
Let me see how recording is. Okay, it's all good.
That we will never agree for the quota system, and our promises are kept. The whole migration crisis, it's a global thing. Europe is not responsible for what is happening in Syria. We never...
But no, the colonization happened, so Europe is halfly responsible for it historically. And to have the cheek and say that we're not responsible. Oh no, we're going to ignore the colonization, we're going to blame you. Yeah, you're responsible for that, mate. Because you got to get destroyed. Because it was decades of exploiting other countries. And yeah, Poland is the only country that doesn't have colonies. It doesn't colonize other countries. But next door neighbor, they colonize a lot of countries. Germany and Austria, remember that? You know? And Poland also has signed up with Warsaw Pact with Soviet Union and so many other Eastern European. So yeah. There's someone involved with Russia and stuff. That's why they're getting invaded, because next door, and also historically they were involved in some kind of treaty with other Soviet countries.
Any colonies. So if this problem is a global problem, where is Saudi Arabia? Where is Qatar? Where are the other Arab countries, rich Arab countries, which should help?
Best point.
They can help. Mecca is a great example. 100,000 tents used only once a year during the pilgrimage. 4 million people can take this shelter and live there for a year. They're empty.
You do realize that Lebanon has taken in time.
And you realize that all these countries don't give out hand out passport easily. They can give out visas, yeah, but they hand out passport. I don't know where they get that information from. Oh, go to other Muslim countries. They got options too, yeah, because they want to speak English, yeah. They want to come to UK because they want to speak English. They don't want to speak Arabic, yeah. They want to come to your riches economy for that. That's why they want to go Western Europe. Get effects logic right. Don't Google it, man. Lies, all lies. All lies from the mainstream media that I want you to know.
Lebanon's taken in over 1 million Syrians. 1 in 5 of the population in Lebanon is a refugee. Turkey has more Syrian refugees.
And Lebanon is a small country. They have Christians and Jews. So, yeah, not every Arab country is Muslim. Sorry to break it to you. Not every country is a Muslim majority. Yes, there are some countries that are Muslim majority because it's Arabic and because of Islam, but not every country is a, our country is an Arab majority that happens to be Muslim. And the most largest immigrant that I can say is idiocy. And I don't have a problem with that. But they seem to have a problem with Arab countries because the wealth, the power, they don't get that, so they get bullied.
Than any country in the world.
He's bragging about this, but I don't know if that's a good thing, because I'm pretty sure if you ask people from Lebanon and you ask people from Turkey, they're not going to be super happy about this either, bro. You know, this is a natural reality of the world. People don't really like immigrants.
The Muslim majority countries, some are doing their part.
Oh my god, people don't like immigrants. Bro, well, what are you now? Anti-immigration now? You're an immigrant, bro. You're an immigrant to Poland. You're an American immigrant, but I don't know where the Italian is coming from. And you call people from global country immigrant? That is a biased argument. That is a false argument, man. That is a dumb theory. Maybe they love immigrants, yeah? Because they're next door neighbors to each other. They want to coexist together. I don't know. This is just bollocks, mate. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. This guy right here, he doesn't know that Minnesota, the ice guy, yeah, they killed a woman. But he doesn't care because he wants Rachel. He don't care about America. But he's lonely. You see why he's lonely? It's because guys just don't get banana. It's okay. It's okay, man. I get it. Yeah? Because nothing. I don't know what he's talking about. Immigrant shit. As like some kind of... He wants to rage World War III. Which is I want World War III, but, you know... This might be him wants World War III. He hates everything, but he wants to keep one in.
Come on, I agree with you. You also say in other interviews that this is about Christian culture. This is about Europe being Christian. Now you tell me, no, it's all about legality. I feel like you're all over the place. Are you objecting to refugees from Syria because they're not Christian or because they're not? They shouldn't be in Poland? Which one? You seem to offer different excuses at different times.
I think he's making them like mutually exclusive when both can be true at the same time, right? It could be the religion aspect, which I think is totally fair. And it could be just the fact that they come from a third world country that Poland has no responsibility for, which I also think is totally correct. Every race has positive and negative stereotypes, and I think they all come from somewhere. One of the things that this guy is doing, and I've seen
culture too, don't forget that.
A lot of Muslims do this actually. Every time there's a critical point criticizing the faith or the religion or the actions of other bad Muslims, instead of condemning those behaviors, they try to shift the goalposts and be like, well, what about those people? What about those people? Or try to pretend like these bad Muslims don't exist. That is actually one of my main problems. It's like tribal behavior. But this is not just for Muslim people. Polish people are like this with themselves. Christians are also like this. Conservatives in the US. It happens on both sides.
Polish law is very clear about it. Submit your document.
Dude, that's EU law you're talking about, not Polish law. What? Is that some kind of separate country to you? Dominic? Is that a separate country? Dom!
Apply for a visa, get us the criminal back check, and then we're gonna decide. We are not forced by any law to agree for that. It's the same in America. Even if you have a visa and you're trying to enter US, you still...
It's the same in the Middle East too, bro. It's the same in China. It's the same in Russia.
If you hadn't bragged about the fact that you don't have mosques in Poland, I mean, it sounds like you don't want them there because you're anti-Muslim and anti-Islam.
And even if you were anti-Muslim and anti-Islam, is that really a problem?
Anti-Islam, anti-Muslim. But I don't have a cam on me because lower complication with the cam and since it freezes all the time. I'm just gonna talk without a cam. No, but you're gonna be basically racist. That's all it is, yeah. I don't know why people are okay being racist. I mean, that's like a very low IQ behavior. Anti-Islam is basically means that you hate Islam. Simple as that, right? And I don't understand if you go to other Muslim countries, yeah, you're gonna be hating Islam, but you want to go in there. No, you don't. And also, you know, UAE has invited Tommy Robinson, which is fascinating. I don't know why they did that. I mean, Tommy Robinson is going to be one of the most predators and the most dumbest guy in the world, saying about Muslims and grooming gangs and Pakistanis here and there, saying that, we're going to take over. UK's been taken over. Not so much. They haven't yet. It's just sensationalized. It's just some topic they don't like, yeah? That is declining. I still hear the church music, but it's not really. No one's going to mosque, no one's going to church. No one's going to church anymore, but yeah, you know, the mosque is filled up, so... You know, like... I don't see why people are up in arms about Islam and stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why it's okay to hate Islam, but it's not okay to hate Christians. Seems very shifty because they're the same religion as each other. You realize that, right? But they seem to want to separate together. You see that guy over there? Separate together.
The most toxic beliefs to come out of the West is that you have to be tolerant of everything. And if you're tolerant of everything, then you stand for nothing. I support intolerance from both sides, right? If a Muslim people want to say that we try to bring Christianity into our country, you will be arrested and we won't let that happen. I think that's totally justified. They are responsible for the country. It's an Islamic country. They're allowed to rule the way that they want. And I think the same thing should be applied for Christian countries. The problem is that Christianity promotes this savior complex and this victim complex. Because the
problem is Christianity is declining. Did you see that? The Christians declining. Everyone's atheist. Islam is growing. Whether or not you like that, whether or not you like it or not, Islam is growing. More and more people switch over to Islam. And, you know, people are just going to be atheists. So, I really don't see either side. So, they want to make the whole Islam as a problem. I really don't get it, man. I really don't get why you buy into it.
Entire story of Jesus is him essentially sacrificing himself for the good of humanity. People say white guilt, but I actually think it's Christian guilt. Because Jesus sacrificed himself for us, we also have to be kind and sacrifice ourselves for the world. But that can only really happen in a safe society, a high-trust society. When you're in a low-trust society, that's how people get played. And if you're coming from a country and culture that is completely different to Western values, which a lot of Islamic countries are, then I see no problem in not wanting to mix. I think that's totally okay. Also, he's making a big distinction between illegal and legal immigrants, which I think is the right move. But a lot of these mainstream media outlets always skip over that point of illegal versus illegal, and they just make it about immigrants in general. And I think it's total BS.
I used to live in London. I used to live there for 5 years.
He lived in London, lives for 5 years. You never see him video talking with those poor people, the homeless people, and also with the Pakistanis and the Bengalis living in London, and so many different cultures out there. So like everyone that hates multiculturalism, they never lived in London before, or they never lived in any of the cities in the UK to know that multiculturalism is not even a problem. It's just the right with the media makes it a problem. And they say to be everyone's a human, regardless of skin color, or religion, or culture, whatever you are. That's a problem with that. I got a problem with white girls. I got a problem with Christians. I got a problem with Muslims. Yeah? We all are equal by that. But for some reason, we've been told that Islam is not compatible. No, the West is incompatible with Islam. No, we're going to Christian. Okay, well, tell them to go back to church and then we'll just go talking about it. Stop taking our land and exploiting our countries and that'll be fine, yeah? Very, very, very hypocrite.
To work in US, and I see the fruits of multiculturalism. For me, it's not a value. So
he's talking so much bullshit.
we have a right to think about our future in a way we want to. So Christian culture, Roman law, Greek philosophers, these are the virtues for us.
It's funny that you mentioned. It's funny that you mentioned.
Yeah, and this is not just race dependent. So here in Poland, some of the immigrants that I've seen do well here are Latinos, Filipinos, Italians, Spanish. And one of the main reasons for that is because they are also Catholic countries. So yes, they have different levels of corruption and issues, but the core values of the society revolve around the Catholic faith. We can't really control the fact that certain races gravitate towards one religion over the other. I hate how the reporter is trying to make this about race and about color and trying to push the argument in this direction. But I'm like, if it's a disagreement of ideas and they don't want to mix, I think that's totally okay too.
You know what's not okay is that you actually try to exclude those Muslim people into other side, right? So that means that there's going to be a wage disparity. Do you want the UK? Do you want that people don't want to mix, or do people don't want to mix and people feel like alienated, feel like Muslim people have to be shifted aside, yeah, and have to go back to their countries and get bombed by Israel and US? Because I can see them do well, and it's securely as well. They're not religious. Turkish, Azerbaijan, all right. Pakistanis from European countries, Somali people, they're Muslim, but they can define themselves because I don't want to nurse, yeah. And what else? Moroccans, okay, maybe some of them are mischievous, but they're okay. I don't see them stabbing each other. It's just basically West seem to be making distinction that really this pro-Christian values and really Christianity is about the same as Muslims. Don't believe me? Go check in the Bible, check in your Quran, and then come back to me with facts. Until then, shut your mouth. Yeah? Because I'm coming with logic facts. I read the Quran once, and I researched about it. And also, I've read Bible, but it's the same as Islam. But they have a similar values, they have a similar compatibility, right? They have similar way of thinking, yeah. And also, Muslim folk are compared to Christianity too. The only problem is that the atheist people seem to want to be, go and drink and smoke and take gambling and drinking. You don't have a problem with that West, do you? You just want people messing around, yeah. But the people that do want Muslims here that are against laws, against gambling, porn, right? Loans, yeah, and mortgages. You have a problem with that. It's because the West don't want you. They don't want people thinking the right way. They want you thinking the machine.
Second,
Sharia law in
what
Europe.
is- okay,
I am the member. Let me finish.
having
Let me
Muslims in your
finish.
country doesn't mean you have Sharia law. You mentioned London. The mayor of London is a Muslim. There's no Sharia law.
That is true for now. But if the Muslims are the majority, what's to say that they won't make things into Sharia law?
That's a stupid way of doing it. Because even if it's a majority, you bet your ass nobody wants Sharia law in their countries. Because you have to think about it. Sharia law is so different from UAE. And also, Sharia law is criticized anyways. UAE works because it's a Muslim land, but Christian lands, just remember that, right? They have their own rules. So that means Sharia law, I'm sorry, even if a majority of Muslims come to West, yeah, they're probably not going to be Muslims anytime soon, or maybe some of the Muslims, but they don't want Sharia law because they want everyone to think, yeah. And actually, America and Canada, yeah, have do well in multiculturalism because they're created by immigrants. Or Europe, they're created by singular entity, yeah, and they just don't like the fact that we colonize them. But no, we don't like these people. That's what this guy's promoting. He's promoting hate against other minorities.
It's a legitimate question. That's all I'm saying.
Many would say it's hypocritical that you say you don't want Muslim
Yes, I'm
immigrants in your
yeah.
country because they commit crimes, there's a security
Yes.
threat, and yet you hear exactly the
It's
same
fucking
rhetoric
bullshit.
about
It's
Polish
fucking
immigrants
bullshit.
in the UK from right-wing politicians and media there.
You see what he did, right? He's like, you're saying all these things about Muslims, but what about Polish people in the UK? So he's like, don't forget about.
What about them? What about them? What about them, Wes? You're defending them too much, but you're attacking Muslims. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, man.
This issue. What about that issue over there? That's a problem. But you're totally moving the goalposts because we're not even talking about that. Even though what he's saying is true. A lot of Polish people complain that people don't integrate into Poland, but a lot of Polish people that go to the UK don't speak English after a few years. And that is a fair point. That is right.
Say the Poles are groping women, they're feckless, they're criminals, they won't integrate. Don't you see the irony or the hypocrisy of treating Muslim immigrants to Poland in the same way that
Jail them.
some
Jail
Britons
them.
treat Polish immigrants?
Okay, how many Poles blow themselves up in London or any other place?
You don't see it. No. It's probably some guy, yeah, the radicalized, yeah, that's saying that Muslims radicalize or bomb attacks. Ever since 2017, mate, no one bombed themselves, right? And that was the last terrorist attack that has happened, yeah? So, that's a one point into this, yeah, that Muslims are going to commit attacks. No. It's just some racist rhetoric to believe that one group makes a committing attacks, but another group doesn't. It's just all a propaganda. It's just all to split the people and make people even more pissed off.
In the world, that's the question I keep repeating.
There is a lot of crimes carried out
How
against
many
Polish immigrants.
I'm not gonna lie. After COVID, when I go into big crowds or big events, I kind of get nervous. And when I'm here going in the Christmas market, I feel so safe that nothing bad is going to happen. I don't know if I could say the same if I were to go to Christmas market in Germany, or in France, or in the UK. If I'm being completely honest, call me racist. That's the truth.
I'll call you a hypocrite. I'll call you a liar. You've never been to other countries. You're a hypocrite, man. You're a double standard. You're a liar. You're a liar, dude. You got Christmas market in France, Germany. It's all 80% white and France is like mixed. In UK, it's like pretty mixed anyway. So nobody gives a shit, mate. Nobody gives a shit.
Answer your question in this way. A Polish immigrant was charged with the and murder of a British student last month. How would you feel if people in the UK started saying, we don't want Poles here anymore. We don't want murderers here. That's what you say about Muslims. You generalize about all Muslims in the same way that some on the right in the UK generalize about Poles.
I see what made Hassan gets angry is because all this media, all these guys doing is just try attacking because of his faith, yeah? I know why the Muslims are angry because they feel like a minority. Yeah, they didn't come here by choice. They've been forced, literally by call-outs by UK. They don't want to be there, but have to because the passport's strong, but they're making their own threat. But they defend themselves against the media and the government that hates Muslims, that hates Islam indirectly, right? I can see why, yeah? But West doesn't see it because he hasn't lived with Muslims. Clearly, he hasn't been to Dearborn, he hasn't been to Chicago, he hasn't been to New York City, he's been to LA, but he's never talked to Muslims. That's how ignorant, and so uneducated that he doesn't see both sides of the coin from his own view. Boots on the ground, bro. Boots on the ground. Don't listen to media news. Because the news are shit anyways. They're all legacy media and they're all Zionists anyways. They're all puppets. Alright?
There's a
I see what he's trying to say. If it's a one-off event, it's way different than it being a pattern. Something that white people do, and Asians do this too. When you call out a bad person in our group, we're the first ones to say, yeah, F that guy, he should go to jail. Whereas a lot of Muslims, like this case, will be like, okay, there are bad Muslims committing these crimes. And instead of accepting that this is a truth of a small population of the Muslim community, he totally deflects and makes it about other things or tries to throw it back at you and tries to make you feel bad for bringing up the point. So this is one of the big problems. It's the defense of the bad behavior and this tribal mindset where you cannot speak up against anybody else who is Muslim as well. And that, I think, is a problem.
A lot of anti-Polish racism in the UK. Do you not see the irony that you're doing the same thing to Muslims as is done to Poles?
Racism isn't bad if it's justified, though. This is one of the most controversial points that I make. Pattern recognition is not necessarily racist. If you walk into a nail salon...
No, but extremism is a pattern recognition, though. If you see the right-wing person talks about Muslims, he basically just gonna look back and think, oh, so this person's not talking logically. He's biased then. Biased, man.
There's a bunch of Vietnamese people in there. You know you're gonna get nice nails at a decent price, right? Like, stereotypes aren't always bad. You can't equate one form of racism to the other because you have to look at the justification for these bad stereotypes.
If anyone committing a crime should be jailed, it doesn't matter.
Amen.
Is it Polish, is it English, or anyone else? That's number one. Crimes which you mentioned are not committed in the name of Allah.
What's that got to do
From
with
the Polish
anything?
side.
I thought we were
Not
talking
in the
about
name
security.
of Christ.
Who cares?
They are just criminals.
What do you mean who cares? This is the essential problem. Because people who commit these crimes, these terrorist crimes, do so because of Islam.
Talk about
And they
security.
No, but if a white person commit a crime, apparently the media will call him a mental health case. Mental health case. But no, brown person don't commit crime. Terrorist attacks, Muslim. Boys up. I'm not mad, but honestly, I can see this bullshit coming. I'm sniffing out the bollocks.
But why not?
That's number one.
Why not generalize? Why shouldn't British people generalize about Poles? You're generalizing about Muslims. Not all Muslims are terrorists, as you know.
But most terrorists are Muslims.
That's not true, as you know.
He hasn't even lived in a Muslim country to know that not all Muslims are bad people. Oh, Muslims! Oh my God! Oh my God! This guy is fucking bullshit. This motherfucker right here is absolute bollocks, mate. Absolute bollocks. I mean, I'm allowed to say that he's a fucking shit. It's fucking shit. He also go to Tommy Robinson's party. I bet he's got Diddy party. They're all involved in underage kids.
In fact, that's not actually true. The most of the far-right terrorist attacks in the US this year were from far-right Christians.
If they committed a crime, they should be...
It's funny you say most terrorists are...
You see what he's doing, right? But Dominic is like, if they commit a crime, they should be jailed. And then the other guy, the Muslim guy, is just saying, yeah, well, what about this? This racism is bad. You shouldn't be racist. Not once has he admitted to the bad population in the Muslim community committing these terrorist.
No, but it's when you're attacking the whole community, that's when people get defensive, that they need to defend the religion. Yeah. It's not about racism, yeah. It's about stereotyping, yeah. This guy stereotyped the whole Muslim community just because a few commit bad crime and happen to be brown people. I'm telling you something, right? If you brown people commit crime and they're Muslim, it's like whether you need to ask also the question: where do they come from? What's the parents' background? And how they brought up bad values? 3 questions he'd be asked. Not go around ranting like, "Oh, this community is bad. This community is terrorist. This whole community needs to get bombed." That's what he's doing. He's basically saying that all Muslim community are bad and they need to fuck off.
Groups, it's always deflection.
This year, one of the worst terrorist attacks that we saw was in New
Not
Zealand.
Christians,
carried out.
mostly
Hold on.
non-believers.
One of the worst terrorist attacks this year,
You know
one of
this
the high
guy is
profile,
absolutely
was the
fucking
murder
bullshit.
of more than 50
It's
Muslims in
absolutely
New
fucking
Zealand by a
bollocks.
Christian far-right white supremacist.
Yeah, and he's jailed. That's it.
So what? So Muslims are jailed as well. What's your point? Should I blame all white Christians for what that man in New Zealand did?
The difference between our reality.
What about body attacks? Body attacks, man. But you know, he stopped him. Another Muslim kid. No one talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that Muslims did a lot more stuff. Yeah, with synagogue, with Jewish people, than Aussie people. The Asians, Aussie people, and the fuck all. We Muslims done more than Aussies, man. But they don't see it.
After the New Zealand was condemnation. I do condemn
Like
that.
I said.
Everyone condemning it. After the terror attacks, we can hear from imams. That's the reaction.
That's
they
not
are
true,
happy,
as you know.
and they want to kill all the
That's a lie.
infidels. So
That's a lie,
the
Dominic.
difference between
That's a
Western
lie.
civilization.
Imams across the world did not
and
applaud
that's
terrorist
fact.
attacks.
You can just Google it.
This
Just
is
Google
I
it.
don't know. I think the reporter is reaching because I think that is true.
You've got hate preachers.
There
Do you
are
know
hate
what
preachers,
this sentence
indeed.
means?
That's not all imams, though. You said all imams clapping.
No,
Let me
he didn't
ask
say
you this,
all. He
Dominic.
didn't say all.
After
He
the
said
Charlie
some.
Hebdo attacks, you had the King of
There you
Jordan.
go. You don't have hate preachers in the Christian churches.
That's not true either.
I'll give the reporter this because there are people speaking in the Christian church that say hateful things too. I was a part of the Christian church. I had some bad experiences with religion as well.
Hebdo attacks, you had the
And they were also screaming down in London, yeah, saying Jesus Christ is the savior. Oh, you know, you're preaching about it. Yeah. Is that what Christians do? Is that all really Christian, you know, the reverence do? My God. What happens to teaching tolerance and respect? But no. Seem to go the other way. And did you see Muslim people doing the same thing? No, they don't, right? They just sit on a bench with the Quran and with knowledge about Islam. And they're just like, they just give it to you in this. If they don't say no, it's like, class, that's fine. I'll go to the next one. That's the difference, though. We're more calm, but Christians more louder. You know, because they declined, so they feel like they have to react and defend their own religion against the new religion. Yeah. That's all it is. But that's what the elites are doing, to be fair. That's what the Zionists are doing. They're propaganding you so that they're making you hate Islam. They're making you feel like you're atheists and you want to smoke drugs and shisha and get like nice lows, get nice cars. That's what the West is doing.
King of Jordan, the Prime Minister of Turkey, the Foreign Minister of Egypt, the President of the Palestinian Authority, numerous leaders from the Muslim majority world literally marched through the streets of Paris in solidarity with the non-Muslim victims of those attacks. I don't remember seeing you or any other member of the Polish government marching in Christchurch, New Zealand in solidarity with the Muslim victims
this
of that attack.
solidarity.
A Christian far-right nationalist carried out an attack in New Zealand. If you're saying Muslims should condemn a Muslim attack, which they did, why didn't you go to New Zealand and condemn that attack? Why didn't you march? Like,
What does that have to do with anything?
If you want to be a refugee, you have to flee to the first safe country, neighbor country. Then you
What if the neighbor country is dangerous, though? What if you just go to the 200 miles and you see the country's safe? What about that, man? What about that? Okay.
have to apply. You have to prove who you are. And now we are having people in Europe, Poland is not a neighbor of Syria, without documents.
Really? I mean, 80% of Polish people are white. They did not Syria. I don't think Muslims coming to Poland. They're coming to the West though, because they speak multiple languages there, and they want to be rich. They want to feel like they have to work and give their daughter better education, better security for themselves, so they feel safe and feel like they have something to prove that they got. Also, communities from other countries that are, to try to interrogate as much as the other cultures, but then the host community is like, no, we don't want to go with Muslims, so it's like the Muslim community just sticks to themselves. And I can see why, but even the English people don't want to stick with other people as well, so make a fair comparison. Instead of one versus all, how about, the other community should mix in other communities, the host mix other, but no, it'd probably just be black people mixing with other Arabs as well. So
5 passports, the same picture and different names. That's just a fact from our interior ministers. So it's all about safety. You are trying to put the whole subject in a box of Islamophobia. Even if no believer will gonna come, or Buddhist, we will not let him in if he's illegal. That's it.
Let me go back to my question, which you avoided answering. The Christchurch shooter was an immigrant. He was a Christian. He was a white nationalist who killed Muslims. And he had on his weaponry references to a battle in which a king of Poland defeated Muslim invaders. He had the name of a Polish military commander on one of his weapons. So I ask again, why didn't you, according to your own logic, go to Christchurch and disown him? Say this as...
The same argument can be used the other way around. Oh, I found a Quran in this guy's apartment, which means that he supports Islam, which means Islam told him to commit this crime, which means X, Y, and Z.
No. He's probably never educated before, to be honest. I don't think Quran ever tells him to commit crime, It just tells him different things because it's attempted several other ways. Remember, it's 20,000 years old and it's been attempted different ways. So, 2,000 people attempted, Islam as this fanatical, evil religion. When really, if you look back, if you go to Imam, and you educate yourself more, it doesn't tell you that really. Or you go Christian, and the Bible tells you different things, but it's attempted several others, so they change several other patterns here. The difference between Quran and Bible is that Bible just changes every time. You have new words, new sentences, new points. Islam hasn't changed for the I'd say 20,000 years, I would say. Maybe 20 years. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it says 20 years.
Nothing to do with anything.
You have said in a previous interview, this is about culture. This is about preserving Christian culture in Europe. I'm saying to you, white supremacists have carried out horrific terrorist attacks this year in El Paso, Texas, San Diego, California, Christchurch in New Zealand. And they have talked about stopping mosques, stopping the invasion of Muslims, protecting Christian culture. It's virtually the same language that is used by your party and by you. There is an overlap. We can see that with our eyes. It's the same rhetoric.
He had me until...
Actually, I found out that it's not changed for over 1,400 years, so I was wrong. So educated that, but...
That last point, right? Because I think it is fair to bring up these white supremacist terrorist attacks in the U.S., that's a fair argument. But then equating that to what Poland is doing, enforcing their borders and their culture are completely different. The emotional arguments that this guy is making, it's like they're all pointed to put you in a bad spot and to have you choose or justify beliefs that you don't have. So he'll take something that you say and then he'll like, okay, well, what about this guy? And what about this white guy who did this over here? Why don't you condemn him? Here's the argument. Right?
If someone is a terrorist or killer or a criminal, should be jailed.
You're not shooting, but are you inciting the violence by using that rhetoric of invasions and stopping mosques?
Do not compare me to the criminal.
I'm comparing your rhetoric, not you.
No, he's not even criminal, but he talks so much shit. He's got a call for that, But I bet you he's also brought along by Donald Trump and Elon Musk to just brainwash you into hating poor people and think that I'm going to do the right thing. But what the original people from other European countries realize is that they've been taken by fool by all these elite politicians that don't give a fuck about you. They only care. It's money. It's money.
rhetoric is similar, is it not? Or are you denying that? It sounds like you're agreeing.
Are you denying that? It sounds like you're agreeing. Did you not say that? Putting words in your mouth, right? He's trying to make you defend a position that he didn't really say. So this reporter is good. He's a shark, right? He knows how to ask. He knows how to get the heat of the question, but I don't know. It feels very intellectually dishonest.
It's against our law. That's number one. It's against our culture. And the culture is very important. As I told you, we are a Christian country. We don't want hijra in Poland. We don't want Poland being taken over by Muslims, Buddhists, or someone else. For us, Christianity as identity, as our DNA, is very important. And our
I'm going to talk shit for about 1 minute, and then
no.
I'm just going to my
no one
review.
will ever force us to
How about what I
take
think about this
Muslims,
video?
Buddhists, non-believers in huge numbers. But we are helping by sending money because our government is very straight. Do not force us to do things which our society doesn't want. That's why our government was elected. That's why we won.
This is one of the reasons why I wanted to move to Poland, because this guy.
Another reason why you're a loser is because you think that they're doing the right thing and you're not getting women. So that's another reason. Another reason is that because you don't like Muslims. Yeah, and by the way, let me tell you something, yeah. People that come from, that are religious, Muslim, yeah, they are Muslims. We should say that, eh? We should say that Muslims are like a race, but it's when people that have a particular faith that come from Islam is Muslim. Simple as that. Simple as that. That could be xenophobia. That could be Islamophobia. That could be racism. Right them. Promote your gender. And, yeah. That's why you're going to think certain ways.
Afraid to stand up for what he believed in, and he didn't fold in front of this pressure from this reporter. If you guys are thinking about moving to Poland, I highly recommend setting up a meeting with me here. We can talk about your current situation and see if it makes sense to make the move to Poland. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
And yeah, that's it. Yeah, because this guy really sucks. Okay, so there's some good things, but there's some bad things about it. Honestly, this Dominican trip, or whatever that garbage guy name is, he's all this propaganda about Muslims. It's because he's with Tommy Robertson. Tommy Robertson. You know what I mean? Yeah. Honestly, the guy is so much shit about Muslims, right? And my review is, honestly, the report is so good that they can actually counter some of the things he said. But I will tell you, Doritovsky, look at this guy. He looks like some general guy.
But Dominic is like, if they...
He looks like some guy that you gotta beef him after school, yeah? And he's gonna talk, oh, well, Muslims, yeah? But you gotta have a fight. This guy's basically raging in World War III, yeah? Watch, yeah? In 5 years' time, this guy is talking about Muslims, yeah? Don't worry, Russians come in and sooner or later, these guys, they're not gonna have any home to defend. Europe's gonna be bombed, just like Palestine, Syria. But honestly, that guy is an Israel shill, and he's loudly goes to Israel and he loves Netanyahu. He loves bombing. Yeah, and the rest of the demons over there. I'm just saying the truth. I'm just saying the truth, man. Oh well, I hope you like and enjoy my my crazy reaction, because honestly, every time I keep talking about this, yeah, he hasn't even spoke to our poor people, but he gets paid to talk shit about Muslims because that's what his propaganda is, yeah. He's a salesman. Sell a propaganda, yeah. Brainwash people, and then make people subscribe to your bullshit ideals. I can see this is defending for bullshit. That's what it is, yeah. DVS, defending for bullshit. But you can say bollocks, but I'm just gonna keep it real. This guy talks he goes like 18 minutes shit. And Wes is just like, great. I'm telling you, this guy won't get hell alive. Guys, do not listen to any of them. Do not follow advice, yeah? And also do not watch video. I've watched video, 45 minutes, and, well, you don't have to. Okay? So, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one.